Welcome back, friends. We're going to try this in the non-wide angle view, so hopefully you can see the garden better. But it's been way too long since I did a garden update. But it's a pretty cool time in the garden right now, so I figured I'd show you where we're at. Well, I guess we'll spin it around and show you how things are going. So this is our brassica bed. Brassicas being cabbage. Like we got some cabbage here. This one's like bolting, so we're curious to see what happens with it. Looks like flowers are already starting to form. Sort of the cabbage head splits open on its own. We've got some weird stuff going on in here. This is a Brussels sprout, but it's like just getting super thick, not forming any Brussels. Don't know about that. Some cauliflower we never picked. Doing great at the picking stuff. All this tall stuff is broccoli. It was sort of random. We picked the main heads and then ended up with a lot of the side shoots going to seed or flowering, and the bees seem to love it. There's still some over on those flowers over there. The bees do love it. Oh, check this out. This is neat. Don't know what'll happen with this, but see this thing? This is a cabbage. This is a little baby head. We picked this cabbage. It was the first one we picked, and we left it sit there, and it started regrowing leaves around the edges and forming these little, look like really big Brussels sprouts, and now it's turned into like a little tiny head. Doesn't look like we have any more head-shaped ones here, but I think this one we're gonna try and save seed from. I don't know if it'll work, but we'll see. It's fun to see stuff go through its natural life cycle. We had some purple cabbages. They were kind of little heads. Our big cabbage, our green cabbages on the other side were great. They were huge. So this is carrots. Some of it's going to seed. I guess, I don't know if Tiny wants to save some of that. A whole bunch of it isn't, so we've been pulling out occasionally and eating some fresh carrots. I'm not a huge fan of fresh carrots, but Tanya likes them, so that's good. This is a bunch of, this is lettuce. I think this is romaine lettuce. Look how crazy that is. It's like shoots up real tall when it goes to seed. We ate some of that, and it was really good fresh. I think this is iceberg. We had iceberg and romaine in here. It's just a forest. There's a kale. This green kale still looks really good. Surprised it didn't go to seed, since kale can handle such cold temperatures. I'm surprised it's handling the heat so well. I don't know if this purple kale is still good. I think so. It's not gone to seed or flowering yet, so I'm assuming it's not bitter yet. And then this end is, well, a lot of this is zucchini. Got a lot of zucchini out of it. Still a bunch of flowers forming. It's pretty dense. It's hard to get in there. And then this is celery, which we haven't really picked much of, but man, does it grow. And this stuff smells so good. It's so fragrant when you eat it. All right, some more zucchini. And I don't know if you can tell, that bed's quite a bit bigger than this bed. It had different compost in it, which was interesting contrast, but we've still gotten a lot of zucchini out of this. It's a lot smaller, less dense. Anyway, this is the state of our onions. Not great, but they did start to grow once I fertilized them. I think this compost had a lot. We bought this compost. It did not have much fertility in it. So we got a few weeds need to pick out. Garlic or onions don't, cover the ground a whole lot, so you end up with more. Random tomato that tried to grow in the hole and we haven't watered, so it's struggling. Flip it around. Peppers. Peppers are doing all right this year. We've gotten some little baby peppers. I had a lot of people say their peppers aren't growing. Ours are slow growing. I think early in the year we didn't get enough heat, is my guess. But they're growing. We're getting little peppers. Where's a little pepper? There's a little baby pepper there. This has some little peppers on it. growing, I think there's some jalapenos in here. We got some poblanos. We got regular green peppers. We got some colored peppers. We got jalapenos. What else? I don't know. A lot of different kinds of peppers. I think Tiny had some like funny colored peppers. Maybe we had some like black pepper sort of things. I'm excited to see some of those. All right, this is an interesting one. This is our combo tomato bean bed. I think this is all cherry tomatoes. Check out these little tiny. This is a spoon tomato. These things are itty bitty, and I have big hands, but they are teeny tiny. And they're growing. That one's sort of in the corner, not climbing up. We've been training a lot of these up. And we have two different kinds of beans in here. They're not green beans. One of them, I don't remember which one. One's kidney beans and one's black beans. And we just thought it'd be fun to try growing them. But the issue, so you can see this side to this side. This side is a bush. And this side was supposed to be a bush, but it's turning out a little bit viney and it's starting to climb up some of the tomatoes. Let's see. You can see it. It's spiraling its way up here, grabbing a hold of stuff. So that might turn into a bit of a mess, but you know, gotta try stuff. Don't let fear keep you from trying something new. But these beds are real wide and we didn't need just, we got some more tomatoes. Those are cherries. Those are pretty big cherry. Anyway, yeah, try something new. There's nothing stopping you. All right. Now, we got cucumber here. Now we've been harvesting a lot of cucumber. It's doing pretty well, although you can see the discoloring. I think we have a fungal issue, possibly. I don't know. Combination of probably needing more fertilizer, and I think they're too dense, and they're getting like a fungal or a bacterial issue with not enough airflow. It's my guess. So. I don't know. We'll harvest them until they're gone, I guess. And then this, I'm so excited for this. This is fun. This is my Trumbashino squash, also known as Rampicante, I believe is how it's pronounced. And it's starting to climb across here, but it is coming across the top, which is super cool. Okay, so this squash is something I've heard of. Never heard of anyone growing it around here, mostly in the south, but it seems to be doing quite well. So I'm not gonna hold that against it. It's supposed to be really good, resistant to the vine borers and squash bugs. You can see we're getting some fruit on here. Now this is a good example of the shape of this fruit. It's really long with a bulb at the end. All the seeds are going to be in the bulb. Now that is only, I don't know, 16, 18 inches long. They're supposed to get like many more feet long. And the neck is supposed to be seedless. So all the seeds are in the bulb. So you get a lot of fruit. And then supposedly you can eat them like zucchini when they're smaller. If you let them get real big and harden, you can kind of keep them like a butternut squash. So they got this really cool coloring on the leaves, it seems. They've had that for a while, so I'm assuming that's not some sort of a, I don't know, mildew or something. A lot of them seem to have that variegation. I've seen that in pictures too, so hopeful that's not a problem. Anyway, let's sneak in here. This is my largest fruit so far. It's exciting. We're thinking about picking this soon and then trying it. Got some fruit way up here at the top, little baby ones growing. thing looks pretty cool. I'm excited about it. Anyway, let's zoom over here to the other side of the garden. And we'll start with the last boring stuff and end with the finale of the bean tunnel, which I love, the bean tunnel. So, all right, so we have tomatoes here, and these are all some determinate varieties. I think they're all determinate varieties. Tanya planted these here. So we didn't prune them and trellis them like we did the ones over there, because those are indeterminate, so they'll grow like crazy, or forever, I guess. I don't know, we haven't grown a lot of determinate varieties in the past, so this is new. There is basil tucked in next to it, companion planted all the way down. Basil, basil, basil. Smells super good when you are brushing around and weeding and stuff. It's lovely. A couple of empty beds here. Those were garlic, which has been harvested and it's currently drying, curing. Then we have potatoes, which are looking terrible. They're dying back, getting eaten by bugs, which is kind of what happened last year. But we still got a fair amount of potatoes out of them. So fingers crossed that still works okay. Oh, and then we are to the end. We're to the bean tunnel here. Let me step back. This not using the angled lens is gonna bite me here. So yeah, I might switch to the wide angle. Let's do some magic swap. Bye-bye. All right, so wide angle lens. Now you can see the whole thing. So this is our bean tunnel. A couple weeks ago I posted on Instagram that it was growing. A lot of you seem to like it. So check it out. It is growing up all the way over the top now. Let's see our asparagus here all grown up. We'll hit that a little bit on the way around. Let's go through the tunnel. View it from the other side here. So, oh, we're getting beans. I haven't seen those beans yet. We haven't picked any beans. Check it out. It looks like we got some beans we could just about pick. I love this. The beans that had height, I don't have to bend over. Well, I will for the ones down there, but we'll get a lot hanging from the top. So we're gonna have to look through here and start picking beans. Do we got any in here? I don't see any yet in here. I don't know why those ones, this plant down here must be doing real good. There's some little ones. Usually they grow closer to the bottom first, or they did last year. Guess I don't know what usual. We only done this once. Anyway, it's really easy to do. Couple of T-posts right here. I put two, one on each side of this cattle panel, and two on this side. I've seen people do just one. I don't even have these fastened to the T-posts this year. They're just sitting on the ground, arched like this. So these cattle panels are 16 feet long, and I think they're like $30, maybe 35, depending on what prices have done lately. They used to be 25. And you just arch them. T-posts are $4, or like these ones were free because I got them. Somebody's throwing them away. But they're not pretty, they're rusty, but they get the job done. So that's 3 cattle panels, and we have this big old arch in the garden. So yeah, that's the garden. This strip around the outside's been working pretty well, although I really need to dig this back out, all these weeds back out, and I need to lay in some cardboard and a thick layer of like fresh wood chips right along this edge to stop this stuff from growing, and then should deal with that. That's my plan. these are growing a little bit of weeds. We were weeding around this the other day. I haven't done a ton of weeding. I haven't spent an enormous amount of time weeding, I would say. A lot of places, like these beds over here, these raised beds, they're pretty easy to weed. They really only take a few minutes. As long as we have enough mulch in them, they really don't grow that many weeds. And then the weeds that do grow are really easy to pull out. The walkways with the wood chips has worked out really well. A lot of these need a little TLC, like, let me see a good example of here. This one's not bad. There's some weeds that I threw on the ground there, so ignore the pile, but there's not much on the ground. That one's pretty freshly wood chipped. Probably still needs a little bit of fresh. But if we move over here, sorry, this one's a little bit worse. I got more weeds growing in it. Not bad over here on this side. This side's got more weeds. This one's terrible. A lot of weeds in the walkway. This one needs dug out pretty bad. What I plan is to, when these are empty, there's a lot of wood chip in here and a little bit of dirt. Well, this might have more dirt because we moved some of these went kind of on the walkway, but so it still needs a little fixing up. But if I do, my plan is to dig these out, fill them with wood chips, and I'm going to dig this out and just put it on the bed because a lot of that wood chip that's there is very broken down. I'll rake any big pieces off the top, put it on top of the bed as next year's mulch, and slash, I don't know, amendment compost, organic matter. And then we'll put fresh wood chips in. And then every couple of years, when it needs it, I'll dig it out, put it on a bed, and lay in fresh. So this bed, this walkway, you can't see it. This got really dug out. I mean, like a foot deep when I put these in, because this was just hard dirt and I needed some more dirt for in here. And I dug it out, put the dirt in there, loaded it with wood chips, 0 weeds. So that's worked out great. This one has also, must have been fresh-ish. So this one has no weeds this year at all. Some of these others need some help. I need to do a little, I got cardboard alongside here because I just weeded all this out at one point. It was crazy. The outside edges are the worst, but this was all crazy. I laid that in to keep the weeds down. There's none here because I have a little baby asparagus growing. Can you see those? Can you see those? This is sun so bright today. Little baby asparagus. Got some more down here. So, hoping to fill in. I love it if this just spreads out to this edge and fills in, which it's not going to do with cardboard there, but I got to keep these weeds down somehow. And I don't like spending too much time weeding, which is why that's all getting away from me. Got some weeds up underneath here, but those are all super easy to pull out. I just need to get to it. Some weeds on the ground. Having a garden means doing some weeding, I guess. But the mulch has worked super well. As long as you can keep it mulched well enough and don't let it break down too far, you're pretty set on weed reduction. And we're making them super easy to pull out. Honestly, these raised beds, if I come through here, if with the ones that are mulched super well, if I would come through here, say once a week on the regular, and weed these raised beds, I'm not joking, it might take 10 minutes, probably more like 5 minutes, just to hit all the weeds that have popped up. There's just barely any. A lot of that helps that we planted pretty densely, but like around the onions, it takes a smidge longer because there's more space for it to grow, but that mulch has helped immensely. So, all right, it's been a pretty long video, so we'll call it on this one. And I got some other stuff to show you guys, so I really need to film another one. See you in the next one.